So, we should be ready to go fairly soon between these two players. So the first map has already been decided for anyone. I think Adilla tried to stream this the other day, but they both ran into some sound bug issues. So we'll see if things are a bit smoother this time. Okay, so let's mute my phone. So we're going to bring up the page anyway. I know that the first map has already been decided as these two players did try and play previously, but we might as well get the information up and ready to go for when they do enter their second and third games. So let's have a scroll down. And this also goes to the right thread because this is the faction wars thread, which I clicked on and not realised. So map picker is something that we need open, and the tournament brackets or the group stages that we do need open as well. So while we are waiting for the players to actually get in, let's take a little gander at what the stats are currently so far. So Best Noob currently seems to have the most points at the moment with 12-1, however compared to Torpid. Torpid has played less games and Torpid has had a clean win streak overall, having been the only person to beat Best Noob thus far. Currently 10-0 so far. So the only issue is that because some of the players have not completed all their games, it can be a bit hard to try and compare players against each other. You kind of have to compare people with a similar amount of games and to see kind of where they are standing at the moment. So for example, Best News, best to compare him with someone who has 13 games or as close as, so I suppose Piano would probably be a good example. So Piano accumulating a couple more losses in comparison to Best Noob. We'll see how that goes. I can compare myself to Dillis because we've got 16 games each. Same with Ye as well. Ye's got 16 games, so Ye ahead of both of us at the moment with 10-6, me with 9-7, Dillis with 7-9. And for some of the other players, they've currently only got about 10 games or so. So Dark Hero's only got 7 games under his belt, Ben's only got 9, so they will need to try and push through a little bit. Shoulder's got quite a few games as well. Same with Floyd, they've Shoulder got 15, Floyd has got 10. So in regards to matches, I can't actually remember, it was about 3 weeks approximately that the group stage was going to last. And then from there the actual games, or the actual playoffs were going to start, but if you look through the map, it's looking pretty good. A lot of people have played their games already, there's some in week 1 that do need to get played. So we'll see how they go. In the meantime, let's have a quick look at the chat. So Shoulderman is currently releasing the dogs at his house. So Shoulder is going to drink a lot of water and turn on his AC. Gotta be nice and cold, I suppose, ready for the game to start. So before actually this game, or before the series has actually gone underway, just to remind everyone that the map and the commands have already been picked from before. I believe they had already tried to play 2 games together. The only issue is that they did run into sound bugs each time. This is going to be the very first game of the series, and then from there we'll be advancing a little bit further. So jumping into game number 1, the map is going to be Ashes of Typhon, and starting off on the bottom side of the map, Torpid going to be playing as that Chaos Sorcerer, while on the other side of the map we do have Shoulder Mount playing as an Inquisitor. So I did play some test games or some practice games with Shoulder Mount yesterday with this particular matchup, since this was a confirmed matchup already. And I've got to say I am quite surprised that Torpid did decide to play on this map as the Chaos Sorcerer. I personally dislike this map for the Chaos Sorcerer, due to the fact that it's quite open and there's not much yellow cover. I really dislike playing it from a Chaos perspective. I felt like I couldn't punish the Inquisitor too much in that the Inquisitor can play quite safe and then try and get a Lehman out in the late stage of the game. So the games that we did play together, the games did last quite a long time, and in general it would just favour shoulder playing for a Tesla play style, and then he'd get a Lehman Rush out in the field and then would be able to push. Oh wait, this is game 3 and they've already played 2 games. I thought this was their first game. The shoulder won the first game with Rum Captain versus Tech Marine. Wow. Torpid then, I believe, has got his work cut out for them, because I really dislike this map for Chaos. So we'll see if Torpid can have a different perspective on the matchup overall, see how Shoulder decides to play. Hopefully Shoulder will play his best. So with the build that Shoulder does go for, he will go for 2 Guardsmen and a single Sentinel, or potentially 3 Guardsmen. How he tends to stick towards 2 Guardsmen. He will also go for some Catechins in the late stages. Once tier 2 hits, he's going to go for a really fast Inferno pistol, and also go for a Chimera as well. Doesn't always go for the Chimera though. I think he generally sees how it goes. But again, look, caught out here with the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor will buy some decent time though. Yeah, we do see Torpid being quite aggressive. At the same time though, Shoulder is capping the other side of the map though. It is gaining control of the requisition points and the victory points on the bottom side. While Torpid is gaining a little bit of control on the top side. He is gaining a decap with Chaos Sorcerer here, but overall not too much of a gain in comparison to a VP and a requisition point, so Shoulder is going to get that extra VP. So Stomp will go down, only catching out a singular model here. Does need to be careful of some Doom Bolts which will fly down from the top side of the screen here. And you see that Shoulder is going to ignore that a little bit too late. Sentinel is going to be forced to back away without any repair support available. But we do have some Catechins on the way, so some of the builds that I did try against this was to try and go for Havocs, even trying to go for a double Havocs as well. Only issue is, because Shoulder does rush for that Inferno pistol in tier 2, your Havocs will get marked by that Inferno pistol and you're forced to back the Havocs away, as the Inquisitor will be able to designate the mark and essentially come close to wiping the Havoc squad, if not actually wipe the Havoc squad itself, which generally causes some issues. So if the Chimera is out in the field as well, you potentially get some Plague Marines out as a source of AV, and the Havocs just do struggle a little bit. So it does get 2 decaps here. The Sentinel should be able to clear it off this Chaos Sorcerer in the meantime. Some Guardsmen are going to retreat back space, and Shoulder so far does have an early set of generators here, which is going to cause some problems with Torpid. Going to want to try and apply some pressure against that, where he's going to want to try and place down some extra generators himself. So given that the score then is apparently 1-1, I didn't actually realise that this was the 3rd game. I thought this was actually the first game. Torpid does have his work cut out for him so far with this particular matchup, so we'll see how it goes. So Shoulder could be the first person to actually cause Torpid to lose a series. He's currently undefeated with a 10-0 win-loss ratio at the moment. So with the VPs, so far nothing to be unexpected. Chaos Sorcerer losing some VPs in the early stages of the game. Generally is going to lose as he is a little bit weak without any upgrades, I find. Doom Bolts are decent, but other than that, I'm going to be able to do too much more. So Inquisitor will go in with the Hammer of the Witches there, forcing these Havocs to tear down. In the mid side though, we do have some Catechins going in for a flank, and these Catechins should be able to get a model at the very least. Potentially a 2nd model hit. Brings that squad down very low. If they just attack with their shotguns, might be able to kill that additional model, but overall not too big of a deal. So from here, Shoulder is just going to continue to advance a bit further forward. So Doom Bolts do go down. The only issue is that Doom Bolts, there's a lot of terrain differences on this map. So Doom Bolts I do find can be a little bit more difficult to actually try and land overall. So this Sentinel going in quite aggressively does get the big stomp off against all these Heretics. However, Raptors still have 2 models ready to fire with some CSM with Eternal War to try and focus down this Sent. So surprisingly, Shoulder went for Spotters, and this is not something that he did do in the practice games between us. So I'm a little bit curious about this decision to go for Spotters in this game. I don't know if that was a bit of a panic purchase in regards to the Havocs in the field, but I'm not too fond of the spot choice at the moment, so we'll see how they decide to do later on. Could definitely be useful against these double Heretics on the field. If you do land a Spotter show against them, Heretics are quite vulnerable to it. So Inquisitor taking a lot of damage. Raptors, they have enough energy to jump, and that could be a dead Inquisitor. It's going to be a dead Inquisitor. Catechins will try and go for the Unreliable, but it's kind of coming too late, and even if they did try and cast it, when the Raptors were trying to jump onto that Inquisitor, they may have killed the Inquisitor regardless. So we do see that Torpid has gained a bit of an advantage, and Shoulder does have enough power to take up to the next tier, so we should see him take up to tier 2 rather than trying to repurchase the commander immediately. Otherwise he will be delaying his tier 2 even further. Catchings will try and push their way towards the top side of the map here. We do have Havoc set up in the mid side, but without any support for these Catchings, they will just try and pull back in the meantime, and Shoulder's going to try and apply some pressure down the other side here. Spot Shell will go down, placing down some smoke on these Havocs, forcing them to set up in a different position. And we do see that tier 2 has been started by Shoulder, meanwhile tier 2 is ready to be started by Torpid as well. So, again, these spotters, I'm not too sure about the spotters. I don't know if Shoulder was potentially anticipating that it was going to be a second set of Havocs on the field as opposed to Raptors to try and follow this up, but we've also got the Vestments of the Warp here for the Chaos Sorcerer as well, so there's a lot of units to try and get into the face of Shoulder at the moment, and that could potentially be a dead Sentinel. Sentinel will be able to squeeze its way through these Raptors and take the exit around the left-hand side. You know, some Heretics there on the retreat path. We're going to be able to do too much, and we do see that Torpid is going to be bashing power here as well. So both players are going to be completing tier 2 at similar times. We do have another Smoke Shell going to go down, so Shoulder surprisingly is going to get his Catchings back out in the field with only 4 out of 6 models. Should try and keep him on some additional models, given that there are Raptors to be fought. And straight away seeing that the Catchings are going to be forced off the field, as they can't really do too much on 4 out of 6 models against just Raptors. Inquisitor has also been repurchased there, so Hammer of Witches should go down on this lead Havoc model. The Inquisitor though has taken quite a lot of damage so far, does need to be a little careful. Havoc with the Sentinel and Guardsman here should be able to do some decent damage. Sentinel Stomp does go down, but actually misses all targets on the field at the moment, so Sentinel's going to have to 2 back away here, and I believe that is going to be a dead Sentinel, and with this the game is getting progressively more difficult here for Shoulder. So Heretics will fall back to that power farm. So one generator has already been taken out. The Inquisitor comes back out into the field, and the only issue here is that Catchings have just used that unreliable, but Spotters are on the field to try and interrupt them instead. But that Inquisitor though is a little bit low. You know, Catchings, they do go into melee combat a bit over eagerly against these Heretics. Probably should have used Shotgun Blast, and generally when I've been trying to use Heretics against Shoulder, he has been very good at using both Shotgun Blast and Unreliable against enemy Heretics, even if they do have the Aspirant Champion, allowing Catchings to actually win the melee engagements. As Heretics do end up taking far too much damage in range. By the time they actually get into melee combat, they just get a bit too low. So Shoulder's army is looking a little bit weak in comparison, just due to the Sentinel loss from earlier, and also going for Spotters instead. So the map is incredibly blue at the moment, very much in favour of Torpid, but he does have some Stormtroopers on the field. Those Stormtroopers are probably going to get upgraded with the Assault Kit, and from there we should see that Shoulder will be able to gain some additional map control. But that's also just going to be incredibly annoying there with the Vestments, so the Warp will go and push in with the mid-side with these Raptors to provide some assistance. We do see that Sword of Flame getting purchased on the Chaos Sorcerer as well, so he's going to teleport onto these Guardsmen here. Raptors on the retreat path, so these Guardsmen probably want to just back away at this point. A bit too risky for them to try and push in a bit further forward like this. So we should see a model get taken out at the very least, and then we should see some additional ones from these Raptors, but they're a little bit busy focusing on this generator farm instead, and why should they not? So from Shoulder, because he had to repurchase that commander, because he did go for some Spotters as well, doesn't actually have the resources to afford himself a Chimera out in the field. Given that there are also Plague Marines on the field, keeping the Chimera alive can be a bit more difficult, however not impossible, as the Double Guardsmen tend to stick very close to that Chimera to provide some continuous repairs. So Chaos Sorcerer may end up going down here. That is a nice use of an IED, so it does actually get a snipe against this Chaos Sorcerer. Hammer of Witch is also going to go down, so it does guarantee the kill there. Raptors trying to jump in onto these Stormtroopers, but they end up retreating away. In fact, everything here for Shoulder retreats away at this point. So we should see a power bash come in here. That generator not going to last too long there against those CSM and Plague Marines. Raptors will even be able to get in there as well and start meleeing down that power node. So Spotters on the other side of the map here going to be able to counter these Havocs. And we do see a Smoke Shell get placed down immediately after. I'm not too sure about that Smoke Shell getting placed down that quickly afterwards. So Spotters need to be careful, and they end up retreating here. I'm not sure about this retreat. They should have remained with the Catchings instead. Catchings could have tried to push it a bit more aggressively against those Havocs. And so we do see that both squads retreat away, but using the Unreliable does cost a single model, but it does allow the squad to live overall. So this IED going to get detected by these Heretics. They should be able to switch to range stance and be able to focus it down. Instead, he will just walk on top of it, so does need to be a little bit careful. Vader's available before these Stormtroopers by the looks of it, so we should see one get thrown down. Although it looks like the model that was going to throw down the grenade did actually get killed, so far in this game it is favouring Torpid here. And it does look like Torpid will be able to just slowly consume the entire map at this point. We do see that a Banewolf has been purchased. I believe that this is going to be a panic Banewolf. I just don't really know what the Banewolf can achieve here. Banewolf is definitely annoying, don't get me wrong, but it's quite a big investment. That is going to be a CSM squad force away. However, Shoulder has ended up losing power. There's Banewolf down the left-hand side here. Chaos Sorcerer is available with investments to warp, so should be able to teleport something on top of that Banewolf if he does want to kill it a bit later on. Probably waiting for Plague Marines to come out of base. So one thing that Torpid did mention that he wants to try, which was something that I suggested to him, was to try and use Consume on Plague Marines on the one that is holding Missile Launcher. At the cost of an extra model, you do get an extra shot off, so I wonder if that's something that Torpid may attempt to try in this game. To say that he wanted to try it at some point, given that he's got the Chaos Sorcerer in League, so it can be a pretty interesting play. So Plague Marines will get a shot in. However, we don't see it consume, and we definitely won't see it consume from that distance, as well as the Chaos Sorcerer has already left. So Plague Marines will get another shot in. With one more shot remaining, we should see the Chaos Sorcerer try and teleport in onto these Plague Marines if they are in range, just so that they can consume and get that extra missile hit for free, since when you lose a model that's holding the missile launcher, they will fire again instantly, so you can use that. It's very expensive to try and consume one of your Plague Marines for the sake of getting that extra shot off. However, if it does mean securing a vehicle kill where you otherwise would not, it can be worth it. So something to consider. However, not going to see it in this particular instance, sadly. Maybe a bit later in the game. But these Raptors on top of the IED, but Shoulder did not pay attention. That was the Aspiring Champion on top of that IED as well, so definitely would have been beneficial. So we'll see what the Inquisitor can do. She is going to go for the Excruciators, which does allow her to use the Assail ability. That Assail ability does allow her to lock down the squad and play, so very nice against these Raptors, if she can hit them at a decent range. Now these Raptors, they've been quite disruptive against those guards, but that's special as well. Dark Flames getting casted here, so Banewolf is going to be forced back away. We do see that the Plague Marines are able to catch up to this Banewolf, so that should be a dead Banewolf at this point. There's nowhere for it to run if he tries to run the other way to play was that last cannon? Yeah. With that Shoulder is going to call GG here, potentially using those catch-ins as well. And Shoulder definitely did play a lot better in the practice games in comparison to this game, I feel. So I was expecting him to win in that particular series given the practice games from yesterday evening, but the spotter choice was kind of awkward, and losing the Inquisitor as well into Tier 1 definitely hurt him. But unfortunately for Shoulder, he is going to lose that series overall, which means Torpid will remain undefeated at the moment. Now currently 11-0 in Elite League at the moment. So that was only one game, so I don't know if there's going to be any other series this evening, otherwise it's going to be an incredibly short stream. What is Torpid messaging me? So, at the moment then, that is going to be the end of that particular series. So, does anyone actually have any other Elite League games at the moment? So, who are we waiting on? So, we've got Shroom, if Shroom is around to potentially play against Torpid or anyone else. We've got Floyd and Ben, which I'm pretty sure Floyd and Ben have played against each other. But I definitely talked about playing against each other at some point. We've also got Redbeard versus Shroom, we've got Piano versus Ghost, we've got Floyd versus Dark Hero. We've got quite a few Floyd games actually to get through. I don't know if Floyd is online at the moment. Floyd is currently offline at the moment. Is Shroom online? Shroom is currently offline as well. So Torpid's online. Let's see if we can just scroll through the games. Is Redbeard online potentially? Redbeard's online. for some games, maybe. So, we have also got... I need to play against Broodwich. I don't know if Brood is online. Want to play some League with me. Cool, we've got a game against Broodwich. So I'm a bit unsure about Broodwich's playstyles. It's not something I've really looked into too much, and I know I've seen a couple of games with him play. I've not seen lots of games with him play, so I've not really built up too much of a picture in my head, which can be a bit of an issue. So, with that, I am going to spin us our first map of the series. So, Cloud Refinery is going to be the first map here. So, well, no point closing that down. So, this is the first map, or this is the rolled map. Let's find out if Brood is happy with said map. Let me find out who's playing first. Where is that? Where am I? So, I need to try and find. So I'm first pick. So that should be the right thread and bracket page. Adeptus. Oh man, what do I want to play? What has Broodwich got, commander-wise? Let's have a look at that first, and then we can determine what we should play against him. So, Brood. Force Commander, Lictor... no, Lord Commissar, Warlock, Farseer, Lictor Alpha. I could possibly go for... what have I got, actually? Force Commander, Play Champion, Inquisitor, Warlock. I could go for a Play Champion on this map. Fairly comfortably, I think. Let's go Play Champion. That's what's the spell I'm right. Plague Boy. Let me also change this to standard as well. So I was messing around with the game, which is why I set to high resources. Force Commander. So I'm quite happy with this matchup overall. So I think I should be okay. You know, this is going to be my last series in the group stages, so hopefully I do well. I think with 9 games that might be... that's just above a 50% win-loss ratio regardless, so that should be okay. So if I do remain on 9 wins, at least I've gone positive. I can say that much, so I shouldn't be too panicky about this game. So let's do this. Right. So build-wise, standard build, double heretics, a CSM squad. Maybe just noise marines. Yeah, what do I want to get actually as a tier 1.5? I don't know about raptors. I definitely think that I will probably go for a fairly light... I think noise marines, you know. I like noise marines. I know they're not the best, but you can just apply a lot of pressure on the sides with them, especially when they kind of like fall off later on as well. They're good, I find anyway. Yeah, you bear backward. So luckily he's got scouts there, shouldn't have anything for the power up here. So we can just go to the mid side. I think I'll send my play champion down here because I think it is these scouts would have fallen back to that point. Seriously, you managed to catch out half the squad there? Man, that was as horrible of a first engagement could have gone. As far as first engagements go, I don't think that was too awful.
Your forces obey you.
So I would like to get these noisy boys out at some point. So I would like to get in this second aspiring champion first, I think, because I just find them a bit more useful. So we'll get some worship onto the CSM, just because I do need it at this point. Already backed away because he would have had vision of that plague champion. I don't think Blade Champion can't get the angle needed.
Let us open their eyes with blood! Open their eyes with blood! We captured it for chaos! To the rise of the monsters!
Okay, let's get these nose rings out.
Tactical reasons! The radical fire will never stop me! The Emperor's coming! Fresh warriors dispatched. To a stronger position! Summon the heretics.
I wonder if he can attack me from over this wall. That's a yes.
May our might thunder and rattle through bone and flesh. This quiet obey the path to ruin. Ours is the song of victory. Your forces obey you. We shall try march. Let the dark powers hear our prayers. From there we can strike back. To cover.
Seriously, is he not receiving green cover there?
Moving. Your units fulfill your command. Onward slaves. Start with the lioness. Start with the lioness. Brothers. We will take those divisions. Ready? We move.
Oops.
Requisition insufficient.
They want to take up to the next tier.
Power of the Chaos Gods.
I suppose he wants to melee me in this particular instance, but
From there we can strike back. Retribution! Make long power node ahead.
It's just difficult, but it's always like the model massively far away there. Okay, that's one model. Should be able to get a second model hit. Okay, so that's the scout squad wiped. I think we're just going to slowly kind of overwhelm Broodwich a little bit here, bit by bit. Where are they saying that? I was going to say they were set in the wrong direction. I panic retreated away. Oh, that was bad. But that's okay, because we can get the Blood Crusher out into the field at the moment. And from the Blood Crusher, we can just follow up with some Bloodletters to try and deal with the setup team on the backside. So they're nearly ready to come back out of base. Once I've got a capture on this, I will send these heretics in for a flank. There's a bit of a low health flank. So, Blood Crusher should be okay to chase down this Razorback for now. So he's gone for a plasma gun on his tactical marines, which makes sense. So I think Plague Marines maybe, because I do need a source of AV really. So given that he's got a plasma gun, it's unlikely that he's going to go for a missile launcher and his tactical marines hit. I'm going to activate Touch of Noble, maybe a bit early there. So yeah, last cannon sets up in base at the moment, don't really want to tangle with that too much, so we'll fall back to these heretics instead. And they're on 6 out of 9 models, so I should be okay to worship them up a little bit. Do also need to respond with my Nose Marines hit. So Plague Marines will be out on the field, and that will try and provide some bulk to my army. Something for his force commanders to try and tie up. I'm going to try and get as much damage as I can. And edge back away. So CSM coming into the mid side, they'll need some upgrades. But now they don't necessarily need the Mark of Tzeentch upgrade. They will get the Mark of Tzeentch upgrade. But for now, it's not immediately needed. So he's gone for a teleporter pack here, which I'm kind of surprised about. So we want to try and get our units back out on the move now. So I want to try and hunt down this Razorback wherever it's gone. Okay, so that's where it is. We'll see if Broodwich's micro can keep up in this particular situation. Okay, so that's a dead raceback as well. Blade Champion should just retreat for now because there's not much for him to really accomplish at that point. So I think things are looking pretty good at the moment. So they're back up to full models, they can get the Mark of Zinch upgrade, Noise Marines, because he's probably going to be pushing into the mid side of the map. I feel as if I can try and bash with the Noise Marines once again. Just keep denying him constant power over and over again. I'm in control of the other two power nodes, so I don't need to worry about him like whipping out some Terminators on the field or anything too scary. I do need to be careful about this Blood Crusher usage here. Now it's enough to just force him off the VP for now. Now I don't necessarily need to stop him. I don't know where his Devastators are at this point. Tactical Marines will beat these Plague Marines, so if I shove them behind some green cover, they can at least buy a decent chunk of time. But essentially I can send the Blood Crusher round to the side for now. Blade Champion would like to get some further upgrades from him at some point. So I'm not in control of this requisition point, but I will send the Noise Marines down there at some point to actually deal with that. So where are these Devastators? I imagine they're set up around here, surely. Oh, they're here. So we should be able to wipe these Tactical Marines in base at the moment. And with that, that's going to be game number 1. So off to a good start. Only issue is use the Blade Champion. Blade Champion I kind of like to keep hold of. But overall, it's kind of nice to win the first game because then you can. The other opponent, or your opponent's going to feel a bit more pressured because they've only got one more opportunity. If I mess up in the next game, I've got another opportunity as well. How am I countering as Eldar? Probably with Space Marines. I feel fairly comfortable with Space Marines against Eldar. So let me roll another map. At the same time, I can always veto if I don't like one of the commanders, I guess. So, Seraph Palace is going to be the next one. I'm alright with Seraph Palace, you know. This will be the next map. Are you okay with the map? So, I'll go for the Force Commander. So since I did win, Lord Commissar on this map. Has he got another, what's it called? What has he got? Do I want to force him to play Eldar? I really don't like playing against IG too much. I want to veto that. I want to veto that. So, Broodwich is going to be playing the Warlock instead. I'd much rather play against Eldar in comparison to Imperial Guard. And just gotta know that Broodwich is quite a good Lord Commissar player as well. I know he's a good Eldar player, but I'm more comfortable with Eldar, so I feel a bit more. I think I feel happier going up in this matchup, so hopefully I won't lose it, because then he'll just pick Kamsa in next game.
Scouts ready. We shall not fail. We shall secure those resources.
I don't know why I went to Scouts first, I should have gone Tax first, but... YOLO, I guess.
On guard.
Do I want to send Scouts towards the right hand side or not? Because he's going to have Dive Rangers there.
Space Marines on the field. Squad on the move. Ready for duty. Secure the victory point for the chapter.
And do I want to send the Force Command down to this side as well?
I shall claim this land for the chapter.
No, we'll keep Force Commander in mid-side.
Territory now. We claim this in the Emperor's name.
I think if I keep him behind green cover,
There lies the key to victory.
so whatever he sends there, I should be able to intercept. I imagine he's probably going to send something. No, he's not.
Just to secure the victory point. Task unfinished is a prayer unanswered. Reading you clear and Scouts on guard. And hold. Yes. Ready to kill the Elder. They will not escape our holy fire. Ready for secure the victory point for the chapter. In position. Destination confirmed. Is that all?
Our brothers die at enemy hands.
They will not escape our holy fire.
I can just keep buying some time here, I think, with the Force Commander.
This day we join our brothers. Destination confirmed. Trickery cannot save you. My faith is my shield. My fury is my sword. Understood. Securing area. Understood.
I think this is okay.
Securing area.
Support structure complete. Adding power generator.
Go ahead.
Tactical marine depot. Understood. There is no
I'm just going to retreat straight away there, because he's got some Banshees, so
The Codex Astartes.
might as well not try too much there.
Initiates, follow me.
Generator operational.
To a better position now. Valor and duty.
I wonder if I'm going to try and get in position then for a grenade.
Advance.
I think I'm too late here.
Out on the move. That's a good position. Advance. Let fly. Grenade.
What the fuck was that?
Securing area. I shall claim this land.
Capture the requisition point. Reinforcements have arrived.
Oh no, that grenade was
Show me what passes for fury among your misbegotten. Extract behind our team. Tactical retreat. Task unfinished is a prayer unanswered. Scout destination confirmed.
Equip the initiates with combat shotguns.
Advance. Fire! Scout squad on the move. Scout under attack. Understood. Ready to serve. They will not escape our holy fire. Understood. Understood.
Adding power generator.
Understood. Cover. Understood.
we're going to need some ASM at some point.
Squad on the move. Let them fall before us.
Generator operational.
Deploying now. Remember your training. Unleash all fury upon them. All fury at sea. See but do not be
Got some range set on the field.
advance.
The tide of battle turns toward the righteous.
Let fly. On guard. This day we join our brothers. There is no glory in fight. They shoot us in the back. They have us down again. That all you have to offer me, Elder? Understood. Destination.
So I think as long as I keep buying some time till these ranges, till these ASMs rather, pop out into the field.
Ready to advance. Securing area.
Using one generator, not too much of an issue.
Generator to enemy fire. victory point. Adding power generator.
I shall reclaim this land for the chapter. Advance. Deploying now. Understood. We shall not fail. We will be your death, Morlock. There is no glory in pointless defeat. Squad on the move. Target. This day we join battle. Let's fly.
Generator operational.
Your brothers send.
Okay, so let's get these tactical marines up with the ASM. Maybe we can try and do a push. But I feel like that's maybe a bit risky.
Scouts, they will not escape our holy victory point secure. Submarines taking fire. Ready in position. Advance. Field assets.
The enemy is outmaneuvering us.
So grenades on cooldown, but that's not too bad as long as we've got shotgun blast available.
Advance.
Seriously, you can still shoot all the way there.
Understood. We're suppressed. Understood. See, but do not be seen. Understood. Understood. Destroy the Xenos. Understood. Destination confirmed. Deploying now, brother. Forward to victory. Advance. Eldar. Target scouting out. Destination confirmed.
The enemy is capturing one of our strategic points. We are suffering heavy losses.
Kill the Eldar. Offer them no easy targets.
So I feel like I can probably go in here. I need this force commander hit. Nah.
Victory point secured. Take and hold. Yes, brother.
So
Scouts here.
Power Bash may be imminent.
Space
We
Marines
lost an ASM model.
deployed.
That's not good.
The chapter.
Now Banshees run off to the right hand side, so we should be able to try and stop them with these scouts.
The enemy is capturing one of our victory points.
Tacticals and ASM will need to be reinforced. And then we'll get Mount Base in a second. Force Command can go for the Restored Acquisition point.
Ready to serve.
I'm not sure if I'm feeling like a fast Razorback here, and then going for some more infantry, so I'm trying to get out a drop pod at some point. I've got 120 red.
Space Marines.
Moving out. We shall not fail. Advance. Ready for duty. This is Imperial territory now. Under attack. Dead. Advance. They will not escape. On guard. Squad task unfinished is a prayer unanswered. Do not be seen. Assault Marines. They will not escape our holy. Go ahead. Taking fire. Ready to engage combat. They seek cover from us! Orders. Go. Understood. Scouts moving out. Ready for us. Understood. Understood. Take and hold. Yes, brother.
Okay, so there's a Falcon. I'm just going to get out a Dreadnought.
Eldar armor is immune.
A battle brother has fallen. Do not let his sacrifice be in vain.
Exercise your faith in combat, brothers! Advance. They will not escape our holy fire.
Our fortifications are under assault.
We shall be the destroy them! Understood. Scouts, shoot to kill.
Where did these my other scouts from?
Scouts here. Go ahead. That's a good position.
Okay, so we just need to get Melter Bomb out, I think.
To the enemy! Forward to advance. Advance. Secure the victory point for the
Understood.
I am in position. I am all position.
Fire Fight on and drive the enemy back.
Your brothers stand ready, fear me.
Additional requisition needed. Understood.
Destination beginning assault. That's a good position. Ready for
Claiming a victory.
forward to secure the victory. In position. A requisition point. A fine objective. Tactical retreat. Secure the victory point for the chapter. Location secured.
We shall make it so.
I take and hold. We shall advance.
Okay, so we need some Eastern Guard veterans out in the field.
Space Marines, make haste to
Don't know why these are not set to auto reinforce actually.
Scouts ready to earn our place.
requisition pool is depleted.
Be ready. I'm leaving for now. Aerial assault. Ready for assault. Understood. Secure the victory point for the chapter. In position.
Enemy has claimed one of our battle brothers.
Scouts ready. Halfway there. Show me what passes the fury among your misbegotten kind.
We must reverse the course of the battle. Reinforcements have arrived.
Make way. There is no glory in point of
Space Marines, make haste to reinforce your brothers.
Stand ready. Securing area.
Unleash all fury upon them. 100 points remaining. Tactical Marines reinforced.
Understood. Understood. Attack. Scouts ready. It shall be done.
Deploying war gear. We require more resources.
Ready when understood.
One of our initiates has fallen.
What is it doing? I've messed this game up.
Understood.
Pretty sure I just got some devastators out, I guess.
I am dead. Forward to victory.
Lost my second set of attacks, lost
The enemy has
first
won
set of
this
scouts,
day.
lost quite a lot actually. Using the dreadnought and not killing the falcon. Yeah, that's a shame. Does mean that we go to the third game, which he will probably pick the Lord Commissar. If he does go for the Commissar, I am going to be playing a Lictor Alpha. I think. So let's spin another map. Outer Reaches. Ooh, that is... I don't know, do I want to veto Outer Reaches? What have I got? Inquisitor, Warlock. I could go Warlock. He might go Farseer. Yeah, I'm going to veto that. Deserts. So Outer Reaches was next one, but no veto. That map, sniff map will be this. Pretty sure I changed the map before typing out that sentence. Let's find out if he's okay with the map. He's going to go for the Lord Commissar. I am going to go for the Warlock. Then. But even then, I don't really like Eldar too much. But Broodwich may also veto. Yeah, there we go. And then we can whip out the Beast. Because I think an Inquisitor is going to be awful in a mirror match against Imperial Guard. Okay. So because of the size of the map, I'm going to go triple Homogons, which, yeah. We'll see. I want to try and catch Broodwich out with a unique build, we'll call it. The shoulder build. Don't know if I want to get Spore Mines out, but I think with the Power Node you just get like 2 Spore Mines and see. So I'm just going to go straight for the Guardsman, otherwise I'm not going to be able to kill the Sentinel at all. So there's the Commissar. I want to try and find another Guardsman squad. I'm not going to be able to find such a squad. I don't want to capture that if I just go to that point. Oops. Okay, so that's one dead Guardsman squad. So Raveners are going to be next on the shopping list. Commissar should lose eventually at some point against that Mount of Homogons, but he will trade pretty effectively, which is going to be the annoying thing. How is he still in this fight? He's got Carapace armor, that's why. Okay, we need the Raveners out then. So we need some upgrades on that lictor. And from there we can try and fight the Commissar one-on-one. Okay, so we are doing decently so far, I feel. I do need this Toxic Miasma upgrade, which will be used to try and assist in fighting that Commissar if he's got the armor upgrade, so I can slow him down. Has he got no power sword as of yet? Get back away from that as well, since probably not going to win that, but at least we get a decap on the other side of the map. Map control, pretty good for us, I think. And honestly, just getting rid of the Sentinel is just a huge help overall. So I will retreat away from here. I don't want to. I did not do that in time. So I think from here I can just take up to the next tier, because I've managed to kill Guardsman Squad, managed to kill the Sentinel. There's quite a bit of loss there. The map control is looking good. So I think from here I've just focused on, like, say, the Homagon upgrades to make them a bit more effective, so when I do actually end up fighting the Catachans, it should be good. Seriously? I don't know how that did not yield in the dead squad, but should at least get a generator or two. I think the Commissar's going around map capping. So that was not the best fight by me, but overall we lost the commander, he lost 3 generators, gonna hurt him in tier 2 a little bit. So we'll see. I think if the Commissar doesn't have a weapon upgrade, which he doesn't, my elixir should be okay here. So should I activate, is it Stalk that gives me more damage? try and reclaim that natural. What squad is that? Yeah, they can be the side captain squad, they're not upgraded. What was that? Oh, it's just carapace execution. I was gonna say, it's like, that's definitely an aggressive timing to try and... I don't really know what I want. I feel like I could just go tier 3 at this point. Activate Stalk again, go for his Commissar. Seriously, just turns around and gets a special. What is this commander? He's level 3. Domino knockback. So I think, so he's gone for an assault kit here, so if I do get a vehicle out of some sort that's going to affect him, I can't call in Ravenous, that's Ravener Alpha, isn't it? If I could call in Ravener Alphas, Ravenous, that'd be awesome. Calling in Ravener Alphas would be even better, but I'll have to stick to doing without for now. So I think as long as I keep on just putting pressure around the map, even if he has got Stormtroopers out, it's going to be like the only tier 2 unit for a long time. Okay, so Ogrins, with that, we've got the Carnifex starting to build now. All we need to do is just try and avoid him in the meantime. We'll get a Fawn back variant Carnifex. So we can just keep Kaisen away for now. Please get a model. Cool. So again, just picking off a model here and there, just going to come in pretty handy. And from the Fawn back Carnifex, we need to pay for the upgrades, so I won't buy anything else as of yet. To be fair, given that he's got no detection, I could actually just follow this up with a tier 3 Lictor as well. Okay, so we'll send those to the mid side. I don't know where his commander is. Commander is currently there. I've not really used the Stalk ability too often, but I think think this is probably like one of the first games where I've used it fairly extensively. Well, that was a good Reaper Squad spawn. Generally don't know how good my units will be in this particular situation, although it looks fine. Second card effects? Nah, we'll get a Lictor. But the VPs are ticking down, so hopefully we should be able to just secure this game fairly soon. Yes. Well, I must admit, wasn't really wanting this matchup, but I think because of that map is definitely beneficial towards Tyranids because you can go for the mass melee build. Because if you go for the mass melee build, you can just kind of overwhelm Imperial Guard, I feel, because they need to... You can't have a Guardsman squad try and fight a Humgaunt squad. Getting the early kill against Guardsmen, definitely helpful, and getting the early kill against the Sentinel meant I didn't have to worry about Stomp too much, because that died quite early on before a tier 1.5 unit actually came out onto the field, because he did go for that Carapace armor first. So mainly that's that play where there's 3 guardsmen alive, Lictor comes in for a flank, kills 2 models, Flesh Hook's the last one. Killing that guardsman squad in that particular scenario was decent. I don't think it was upgraded, so it wasn't an extreme loss there for Broodwich, but losing the Sentinel as well, that's another 330 requisition, another push. I did lose the Lictor Alpha, however he did lose 3 generators. That 3 generators is more requisition than what the commander is worth, and also harasses his economy. Whereas losing the commander doesn't hurt my economy at all, so overall I'm pretty happy with that series. Which does mean that I do finish with a 10 something. 10 to 7? My standing currently 10 to 7, that's my final score. I have no more group stage games remaining as there's only 18 players. And all 17 series have been played, although one of the series was a free win due to Fathom dropping out of the tournament, so yeah. Let's see who's on. But yeah. So Torpid's got a game up. So, I shall roll a map for these players. Well, there's no point in removing it. Let's refresh the page. And let's get that spun. So, first map is going to be Jarlow's Forge. Thank you, Piano. I'm glad I'm your favourite weirdo. So, first map rolled was Jarlow's Forge. So I've not really kept up much of the chat because I was in game, so I missed quite a lot. Let's have a scroll up. Who's going to be first pick as well? That is a good question. I shall find that out for the players now. So here is Torpid. Where is Torpid and Root together? Torpid Yay, Torpid Red Beard, Torpid Hive Minion, Fathom, Shoulder, Broodwich. One of the last games of the series, number 151. Torpid will be first pick. But on one hand, it's kind of nice when you start off with a commander that's strong, so that you get kind of the early victory, but at the same time, then your opponent may have saved their strong commanders for a little bit later. Imagine for this pick, it's going to be the Chaos Lord. May also go for the Chaos Sorcerer if Torpid feels a bit more comfortable with the Sorcerer instead. But I'd imagine the Chaos Lord on Jarlow's Forge is just pretty good. Kind of just scrolling up second Ravener. Yeah, second Ravener squad could have been good in tier 1 just to apply more pressure. I don't think more pressure was necessarily needed. Though it definitely could have probably ended the game a bit soon if I did go for that second Ravener squad. And there's Torpid going for the Chaos Lord. Yeah, that was unlucky, the 1 HP, the Catchins. They did get away earlier. So Broodwich is going to respond with a Warlock to that Chaos Lord. Okay, Storp's going to get some water, so that gives me time to catch up with the chat and find out what I missed during that previous game. Zone for the Khan effects would have probably been decent, but I think it was fine in base for quite some time. I think that was the end of the game. So, let's scroll back to the actual current chat. Yeah, 2 times Sentinel is kind of annoying to deal with But 2x Raveners can burst down those Sentinels quite early, but that's a massive power investment. Okay, so I might as well green myself as well. So, we'll be jumping into another league game in just a moment. So jumping into the first game of the series, Torpid on the right hand side, going to be playing as Chaos Lord. Map is going to be Jarrow's Forge, so definitely one that the Chaos Lord is preferred to be played on. Jarrow's Forge is quite a small map in general. Generally a lot of people would say it's Chaos favoured, or definitely a nice map for Chaos to play on. So very aggressive Warlock here on the left hand side from Broodwich, already making his way across the entire side of the map. Going to go straight for that enemy power, try and put some pressure on it, try and prevent a decap. So what a Warlock can do, he can try and go in for a decap immediately to try and prevent a power node getting placed down. Given that Torpid doesn't actually have the resources to put down a power node, he can try and get a decap on it, but we'll just try and pick up some Heretics for now, but may decide to switch focus a little bit later, but definitely puts a lot of pressure against Torpid for now. So Heretics currently on 6 out of 8 models, may lose another model there, but Warlock does take 3 hits even after the Destructor going off, so we'll just buy a lot of time on the map. At the same time, Broodwich is not capping up the map as his Warlock is currently busy fighting, so it does work as a bit of a two-way street, but overall getting some XP on the Warlock, killing some Heretic models is always a welcome task. You know, I'll do something a little bit similar on the other side of the map here. The Chaos Lord going to be trying to come in here. The Chaos Lord struggles a little bit to try and pick off some models in the early stages of the game. So Kill the Weaks has already gone down. Banshees will try and pursue the Chaos Lord as much as they can, try and force him into a retreat. And the Chaos Lord gets surrounded here. That's a bit risky. Banshees are going to try and go in, but won't have enough damage. The Torpid does get his Chaos Lord out in time. You know, the Heretics will now join the fight, and now the Banshees will be the ones to run away, and CSM are free to come in and try and harass down these double Dire Avengers on the field. So behind green cover, these CSM will be fine. One squad has been forced off, the other one will remain behind some green cover, and overall Torpid is going to be the one with some stronger map control in the meantime. So, Destructor goes down once again, so Heretics, always annoying to try and have against the Warlock, as you'll just constantly get hit with Destructor. Doesn't matter as much when you do have that Aspiring Champion, as the Aspiring Champion does provide such a massive amount of tankiness to your army. But still annoying regardless. You do need to be careful of a Witchblade Kernis in tier 2, however we may see a Merciless Witchblade come in a little bit sooner if Torpid decides to go for Raptors, which we may see given that it's going to be a Guardian Weapons team on the field, and maybe followed up with an additional Guardian Weapons team as well. So Rangers on this map, because of how small the map is, you possibly won't see Rangers as often. Generally might be a bit more favoured to just get out a second Guardian Weapons team instead, since you can try and be a bit more aggressive with it as opposed to Rangers, which, while Rangers are annoying, they can't try and lock someone in place with Rangers as much. You can probably pressure someone into an engagement, but the only issue is Rangers do bleed models very easily against Chaos Lord with a Combi Flamer, and a Combi Flamer is already coming in as of now, so it's like that needs to be considered. So Guardian Weapons team will try and fire at that Chaos Lord. Dire Avengers can now turn around, start focusing down a little bit, try and soften them up as much as possible, ready for the next engagement. So Banshees, no upgrade for them as of yet, but we should see the Aspect upgrade get purchased for them at some point. Either Aspect will work in this particular matchup. So they can always go for the Aspect of Fleetness, they want the power melee in tier 2, so they're going to be focusing more against the infantry. They can also go for that Aspect of Strength if they are going to be wanting to fight a Blood Crusher a little bit later on. So multiple Blood Crushers can be annoying for Eldar to deal with if you do have the economy to support pumping out 2 Blood Crushers at the same time. Whether it's something you want to do or not is a different story. And also you do need to worry about Blood Crushers pathing on each other, as they will get stuck on each other and just be a massive pain. But that Chaos Lord with the Combi Flamer is also going to be a massive pain in tier 1. Heretics coming in for a flank here. Aspiring Champion has been purchased, so these Banshees are not going to be equipped to try and deal with them, although that Destructor lands perfectly. Banshees now have the Aspects of Strength upgrade, but there is another Aspiring Champion Heretic squad coming in. That Warlock is taking an absolute beating from the Chaos Lord in range here. We do have, in fact, that was the Chaos Lord, Warlock just knocking over a Heretic model randomly there, but that is going to be a dead Heretic squad, 5 HP. Banshee's trying to go in, but the kill of the week is going to go off at the very last second. That will be a squad that remains alive to the very last second. Now the Banshee's forced off the field. Chaos Lord going to try and potentially come around the corner here. So these Dire Avengers currently upgraded at the moment, so only 100 HP per model. When they do get the aspect of the Avenger upgrade, they do gain an additional 30% health or 33% health, bringing the squad up to 666 HP. And then you can also get the Warlock or the Exarch to lead the squad in Tier 2, which allows them to take reduced range damage and also just make the squad a bit bulky overall. So we do see the aspect upgrade coming in for both squads at the same time, also provides you with the plasma gun upgrade and also the fleet of foot ability, allowing you to try and punish units a bit harder. So we may see Brood try and move up here. He has got Banshees trying to fleet in onto the retreat path, and the grenade is now available, but decides not to throw it at the CSM. CSM are quite spread out, so it would have been very difficult to actually wipe the squad overall. However, you could have tried to pick off a model and just cost Torpid about 80 requisition points overall to get them replaced, or maybe not necessarily 80, it's about close to 70, isn't it? So energy shields in the mid-side of the map does provide full cover for these Dire Avengers, does allow them to absorb, or does allow them to use the energy shield to absorb the range damage instead.
We shall triumph.
So we'll see. And didn't mean the plasma gun, I meant the plasma grenade upgrade, not plasma gun. Plasma gun upgrade would be pretty broken for a Dire Avenger in Tier 1. The Space Marines and Chaos alike would just get destroyed, and to be honest, most factions would probably get destroyed by that. So Raptors on the field for Torpid. This is a response to the Guardian Weapons team out into the field. From the Warlock, we may see a second Guardian Weapons team. We may also see the Merciless Witchblade upgrade with the Champion's Robes, just to make the Warlock a bit tankier. However, double upgrades means twice as much power, as opposed to just getting a second Guardian Weapons team out into the field. So, in my game as Force Commander against Warlock, I know it's a slightly different matchup, we did see that there was a second Tier 1.5 unit out from Broodwich. However, in this game we've not seen it as of yet. So with the Raptors out into the field, we may see Broodwich try and respond with that. However, given how close he is to taking up to Tier 2, may decide to just try and remain without it for now, try and get out an early Falcon. So while this is ongoing, there are two Dire Avengers trying to patch down Torpid's power here, so Torpid will need to make something happen on this side. Looks like one generator will definitely go down the CS7 and Chaos Lord in range. Pretty strong combination here. Chaos Lord doing about 30 DPS with his Combi Flamer, the CSM dealing about 45 as a squad. It's quite a lot of damage. At the same time though, these double Dire Avengers do hurt quite a bit, so Heretics and Raptors going to come in for a bit of defense, and these Dire Avengers, one squad will escape, the other will not. Plasma Grenade going to get thrown down here and will be avoided. There is a second grenade available. Second grenade has been thrown down, and that's going to land a little bit too far behind. So overall we are going to see Broodwich off the field, and from here Torpid can try and resume the power bash that he had started earlier. So Tier 2 started for Broodwich, but won't be able to get a Falcon out for quite some time. Whether or not he gets a Falcon out is going to be another mass, and may decide to go for a Wraith Lord given how small this map actually is. That Guardian Weapons team just not quite having enough damage there to fend off the Chaos Lord. Does a lot of damage to him, brings him down to just under half HP, because we do see the Harness of Rage get purchased, which does give the Chaos Lord some additional bulkiness, an additional 200 HP, some health regeneration, and also some energy regeneration, which is a bit less useful in this particular scenario. So, double Dire Avengers do make their way back out of base, going to start firing at the CSM. The CSM out of cover, do need to be a little bit careful. The Chaos Lord coming in, Kill the Weak is up, so Banshees want to try and bait out that Kill the Weak where possible. And it's actually going to be the Immolate's ability, and just no Kill the Weak here. Banshees, if they fleet, they... a little bit late now, but looked like there was a slight window there for a kill on that Chaos Lord. So Banshee's doing a significant amount of damage to this first Heretic squad. Only issues Raptors and another set of Heretics on retreat. I believe that is going to be a dead squad here. Somewhere these Banshees may try and just run up to the top side if they don't get suppressed. They should be okay. Raptors don't have enough energy to jump, but the Banshees did leave the fight a little bit too late. Had they tried to run up to the top a little bit earlier, they should have been able to escape. But overall, that's going to be a big win here for Torpid. And from here, can just try and resume bashing power once again. Since the map is quite blue, doesn't really need to send these units anywhere else other than just try and apply some further pressure. So Tier 2 now completing for Torpid, but Broodwich has already been Tier 2 for some time. No Falcon on the way, which means we are going to see a Wraith Lord get purchased. Unlikely to see a very fast Tier 3 from him at this point, so... Actually, no, decides to go for the Falcon in the end. So the reason I thought he was going to go for the Wraith Lord was just due to the fact that he had 90 power in the bank and had not purchased a Falcon as of yet, so... I don't know if Broodwich did spot that the Aspiring Champion for those Raptors came in at the last second. but we do have an Aspiring Champion on the way here for these CSM, and that's a very aggressive throw to hit from these Dire Avengers, trying to run past the CSM like that. So the CSM squad is going to get suppressed here, going to be able to get just outside the cone, but Torpid actually retreats away at the last second there, so could have just about made it. Does need to be careful of this retreat grenade. Coming in, it's a nice grenade here, catching out a few models at the backside. Will do some significant damage, but only killing one model overall. Guard Web's team not really wanting to fight that Chaos Lord is going to back away, and we do see that Torpid going to go for a early Blood Crusher, which will force Broodwich to try and get out some sort of AV. He does have this Falcon, which does have some soft AV. Effective against all targets with its multi-firing guns on the top. So we'll see how the Falcon does. We've seen Broodwich for several games in a row now, including the game against me earlier. It does go for multiple Falcons on the field to try and apply a lot of pressure. Multiple Falcons are quite annoying to deal with, actually. The only issue is that Torpid, in terms of VPs, are very far ahead with 500 to 92, so a 400 VP lead for him at the moment, so in a pretty good spot. And also gain a decap against the only requisition point that was there for Broodwich, so Broodwich's economy is a little bit weak at the moment. So that Chaos Lord is going to be able to get away here. Grenade not going to do enough damage against a single target in this particular instance, so he should be fine. Meanwhile, this Warlock, trying to fight alone here on the other side of the map, does need to be a little bit careful. He's getting a little bit low. Meanwhile, I do see a little bit of pressure here on the generator farm. Guard Web's team will try and insert this Falcon, or try and set up next to the Falcon instead, but the Falcon can just poke down these units in range. So Plague Marine's going to be the choice for Torpid. Plague Marine's quite nice with the Chaos Lord in the sense that you do get Corn Worship. Does provide the Plague Marines with a speed boost when they are under Worship, which does allow them to chase down vehicles a bit easier in comparison to the Chaos Sorcerer or the Plague Champion. Chaos Sorcerer has other ways of supporting the Plague Marine, sorry. In the sense that you can use the Global Warp ability to warp them on top of your Chaos Sorcerer. However, it means that you need to get the Chaos Sorcerer in such a position that they can actually get a flank against this Falcon, or get closer to the Falcon to get an additional shot as required. And you can also combine it with the Consume, but we've not seen that as of yet. But you can try and consume the model with the missile launcher to try and get a second shot off. So, nice grenade throw here. We do see Torp trying to respond with a Worship to try and spread out those models, which does partially work. That Guardian Web's team though is low. It is going to go down. That special is going to secure the kill here, and we do have the Witchblade of Kernus hit. The Witchblade of Kernus does give you the Ethereal Slash ability, which will demolish Heretics if Heretics decide to get surrounded against this Warlock. Also gives the Warlock some power melee damage, making them effective against heavy infantry and all targets. And we're going to see that accompanied with an Autark drop. On the mid side, it is going to miss these Heretics. Torpid is already on the case. And with the Guardian Web's team down in here, Broodwich's army, although he does replace that with a Autark, is still quite weak at the moment. That Autark though is going to go down. Do you see the Slaughter ability activated on the CSM, increasing the amount of damage that they deal? Ethereal Slash going to go down, which will knock back some units overall though. Isn't going to do too much damage, and Warlock will be able to get out there alive, but the VPs do tick down to VPs in control for Torpid at the moment. So that's why we see Broodwich playing so aggressively, trying to get his way out of base, but it's just not going to happen here. That's going to be a dead Falcon as well. Surely Plague Marines game worshipped, going to be able to get an additional shot off if the Raptors are unsuccessful in finishing it, and the VPs tick down to 0. And with that, Torpid is going to be the winner of Game 1 here in this series. Very difficult map to play against, given that there were 2 Chaos Commanders. Might have been best at Broodwich to try and veto the map, although players don't typically want to veto the very first map of the series, as that does mean that they'll have to play the rest of the series without it. Could have tried to veto the Chaos Lord, but the Chaos Sorcerer was still available, but might have had a bit of an easier time against the Chaos Sorcerer with the Warlock. So we are going to go into Game 2 shortly. We'll wait for Torpid to get a lobby up. In the meantime, I will spin a map for these players. So Charlo's Forge is now removed as we do spin. With the next map going to be Quest's Heresy. So from Quest's Heresy, from Torpid, since he is going to be the first pick, I believe we could probably see the Tech Marine or Apo from him on here. I feel like it's unlikely that we'll see the Ravener Alpha, but I could be wrong. Oops. Next map will be Quest's Heresy. Are both players okay with the map? So Broodwich is okay. We'll see if Torpid is going to be okay. Torpid will be first pick. As he was. Okay, so Chaos Sorcerer is going to be Torpid's pick. And from Broodwich, I would expect to see the Lord Commissar get picked here. He's going to do the Force Commander. Force Commander actually, not a bad shout. Good matchup there for Broodwich. I don't know if we'll see a veto from Torpid. I don't think we will. Maybe in the third game.
Your puny, shiny arse up, Eldar.
And also thank you Serenitus97 for the follow. So Chaos Sorcerer does struggle against the Force Commander. So that was Torpid's reasoning for not going for the APO Tech Marine. To be honest, I don't find the Force Commander to be that much stronger than the APO and Tech Marine in a mirror match. The issue probably arises from tier 3. If the game does extend into an extended game, Assault Terminators are going to be a pain to deal with. However, the Tech Marine does have access to the Venerable Dreadnoughts. The APO doesn't really have access to too much that can actually deal with Assault Terminators, other than trying to rely on Dreadnoughts and tier 2 infantry. Overall, I don't particularly mind those matchups as much. I would rather play, I suppose, in the Space Marine mirror as opposed to this particular matchup. But jumping into game 2, first player on the map is going to be Torpid on the bottom side. Here is a Chaos Sorcerer. Meanwhile, we have Broodwich on the top side as a Force Commander. So the map is going to be Quest's Heresy, quite a small map. A lot of action in the middle here as it is kind of walled off and closed off. That we shall see. So Chaos Sorcerer does struggle against the Force Commander in the early stages of the game due to him being quite a weak commander in terms of brawling. He is a melee commander as well, so does need to try and get into the face of his opponents, can try and cast Doom Bolts at range. However, once the Doom Bolts have been used, doesn't really have too much damage beyond that until he does get some upgrades. Can be very useful in tier 2 with the Rod of Warpfire. Try and knock back opposing units, can be great with the Chains of Torment to try and lock down the Force Commander. However, those chains can get focused down if the opponent does have some Tactical Marines or some other ranged units to try and shoot at them. Chains don't have too much health, so if the person is going for a mixed build or a ranged heavy build, they should be able to deal with the chains fairly easy. If they're going for a very heavy melee build, which you don't really see Space Marines do too often, they're not going to go through multiple ASM often, in which case then the chains are going to be a bit hard to deal with. So overall, Force Commander has a decent amount of support if he decides to go for a sort of telehammer build. So Battlecry activated here by Broodwich, which is kind of early, I feel. Kind of want to wait until the Heretics are forced to try and fight your Force Commander here. Otherwise, the Battlecry, as you can see, it just misses its targets a lot of the time. And you can just kite around like this, so we do see some good usage here. The Force Commander will still get into the face because the Chaos Sorcerer doesn't really have much damage, and while CSM Squad is trying to focus him down, the CSM Squad is going to be the next target here, so he might be able to get a model, but I feel like Torpid is going to retreat away before that's possible. So now that the CSM have been forced off, probably now time to switch focus to the Heretics, try and bleed some models, try and get some XP on that Force Commander. Instead, we actually see him fight the Chaos Sorcerer instead. That's also acceptable because he can weaken the Chaos Sorcerer, but Chaos Sorcerer can regen fairly quickly. And then he can also consume some Heretics as well. So some Doom Bolts do go down. I believe that was a bit delayed though, just due to the fact that the Chaos Sorcerer did get special. The Chaos Sorcerer was knocked over and then had to cast it after that. But we do see that Torpid doing a really good job of map control at the moment. I feel like Broodwich not going for a double scout build is hurting him slightly. Not having that second scout squad to just try and cap up the map and keeping one in combat. So he's going for some very fast ASM, which has kind of cost him a little bit in the early stages, trying to get that squad out. He's had to make a lot of sacrifices along the way in terms of his army. While he was able to buy a decent amount of time, Torpid is able to come out ahead due to that extra squad in terms of map control. And also getting that early Aspirant Champion out, which you can get out way before ASM ever hit the field. So ASM will need to be a little bit careful with that Aspirant Champion. We should see a second Aspirant Champion get purchased for this other squad, potentially. As Torpid is just going to keep this purely on the side. So that one Darius has been taken out, but we do see Broodwich is able to quickly replenish it. And now his squad's back up to full health. Let's see what it can do on the field with some ASM to try and follow up from behind. Now the map is looking quite blue at the moment, so Torpid is doing pretty well in terms of economy. He's able to get some Raptors out of his own following the upgrade as well. So here's I'm going to go very aggressive here, just going to go straight after this Heretic squad on the right hand side. Should be able to get a VP as well. The ASM bolt pistols, I think they do about 7 to 8 DPS each, so you can definitely stack up to a decent amount. We'll see what Broodwich can do to try and reclaim a bit of ground on here. These are heretics just bleeding the model after model. You can see a nice little trail of bodies along the way. So still the map is quite blue, will be blue for some time, but with raptors on the field, they should be able to jump onto these scouts here. Scouts have already used their shotgun blasts as they've got their energy missing. But raptors don't need to try and jump on the scouts, they can just wait for them to retreat away. Instead, try to fight the tactical marines instead. Don't necessarily want to be engaging against the force commander directly, as raptors will potentially bleed a model there. It will take a lot of damage in the process, but so it's given that Broodwich doesn't have too many squads on the field, Torpid may just want to try and force what Broodwich has got on the field off the field, and that would make it even easier in terms of trying to gain map control. So Force Command does take quite a lot of damage, and a nice micro here from Torpid to try and avoid the battle cry swings. So with the battle cry active, it's a cone of about 15 degrees, so it's not too much room that you've got to work with the Force Commander, so you can avoid a lot of the shots. But the battle cry is good against melee squads, but you can micro against it with raptors or a single target like a commander, or you can also try and kite around with heretics just by doom blasting on a constant basis. So there's a lot of ways you can play against it, and definitely it makes a bit of a pain to try and actually activate Battlecry, and then you're forced to just use it in the default configuration while you just attack normally, and just use Battlecry for situations where you have got a Thunder Hammer so it can't miss, or use the Battlecry as a attack bonus to your nearby units. But overall the map control is still looking in favour of Torpid, and we do see a big push here against the power. Double Aspirant Champion Heretic is going to be a bit of a pain to deal with. Power Sword has also been a purchase. Those Doombots that do get dodged, but the Chaos Sorcerer does see one of these Heretics to try and cast some additional Doombots. So ASM do jump in, however that jump looks like it missed a little bit here. Do not see Battlecry active. Actually no, Battlecry is active as of now. That should be a dead Sorcerer. Oh, yep, he will go down in the end. So ASM forced to jump away here. Scout's quite low at the same time. Force Commander that should also try and retreat through that, but that is it's a lot of melee and retreat here. He will get away? No. Yes. No. No. That was uncertain, I must admit. So from here, Torpid just going to continue applying pressure to the Giant farms. Aspirant Champion Heretics very good at bashing, can do so quite quickly. So that is 2 Generators down. Broodwich is going to call GG in this particular matchup. We will see that Torpid is going to go 2-0 against Broodwich. So overall, Torpid is going to continue his win streak. He is now going to be, was it 12-0 now? Let's have a quick refresh. I don't know. I don't think this updates automatically, but we may have a referee currently watching. So Torpid is currently 11-0, but let's have a look on the far right hand side and see if that match was recorded. So currently not recorded as of yet. However, I imagine it will get recorded at some point tomorrow or today, since we are past the midnight mark, although it depends on where you're from. So Torpid is going to be 12-0 so far in the series, so currently going to be contender of just winning every series in a row. He has had some losses here and there within the series, so he did lose games to his shoulder mounts. I managed to take a game of Torpid. I believe he's got some other losses within the series themselves. So we shall see if he can continue on against his last 5 opponents. I'm not actually sure who they are, so we can have a look now. So Redbeard has got to play against Torpid, Hive Minion as well, and that was a 3-win against Fathom, which he has just played. Local Ghost, Floyd. I did also manage to take a game of Torpid as well, and Shroom. So I believe Torpid will lose another game at the very least. Whether he loses the series is going to be a different question. I think it's possible. I feel like Hive Minion's been surprising us quite a lot this league. So I feel like Hive Minion may have an opportunity. We're going to rely on you, Hive Minion. Is there any other ability that can take 100 HP tax down to 40%? Probably Smite, grenades, warp fire from the Chaos Sorcerer. Imperial Abyss, the tier 3 nuke for Chaos. Rocks is also pretty good. I think a lot of people have a thing for hating Doombot, especially after seeing Piano lose his Heretic squad. I mean, you didn't specify like to exclude certain abilities, so I thought I'd include nukes just in case. But yeah, where's that clip from Snow? Yeah, in chat anyway, you can have a look at the OP Doombots clip. From Torpid as well, even easier. Anyone else for League? Let me ask. So in terms of players actually in game, we don't have many. Best Noob, do you need to play against Broodwich? If Best Noob's actually in chat still. Let's try and find out. But you know, let's just find Broodwich and we'll see what he's not played. Brood. Here is Brood. So Redbeard's played, Hive's played, Fathom has not played but played. Yay. So Shroom's currently offline. Best Noob has already played against Broodwich. Dilla's done so. I've now done so. Piano. Is Piano still online? What's Piano known as these days? I need to change his name so I can keep an eye on it. So if Piano's around, we could potentially have Piano versus Broodwich at the moment. I've completely lost where Broodwich's name's gone. Brood. So Floyd is not online at the moment. Ben is not online as far as I'm aware. Could be wrong. So Ben is offline. For Crid, I believe the Crid is not around. No. So Dark Hero, again, I don't think is around at the moment. Who else can we have? Local Ghost. Ghost has not been online in a few days. Twala Lee, and that's it. So it's essentially if Piano's around, but I don't think Piano is here. Oh, what's he known as? Is he still known as Oceans, or...? My stream's online. Piano's gone offline. I need to... What is he currently named as at the moment, Torpid? Just so I can update his name. So when he keeps changing it, I can actually know who it is. No, he's known as that. There he is. Manage, add nickname. Piano. So Shroom is saying not right now, so I don't believe we've got any Elite League games for Broodwich. I don't think anyone is online to play against you at the moment. So with that, I believe we're probably not going to have any more League games for the evening because it's quite late at the moment. It is currently 1 o'clock in the UK. Generally we don't have too many players around at this time, so unlikely to get a full-on League game unless out of nowhere someone wants to come along. But overall, I think that might be it. So anyone interested, there is going to be Faction Wars tomorrow, Faction Wars number 20, which I will be streaming, most likely. Like 99% likely. So we shall see. Got a new graphics card on the way, so assuming that doesn't blow up the PC, should be good to go. And if that does blow up the PC, then we'll have to get a spare from somewhere, I guess. That should be fine. What else is there to really mention? think there's much else to really mention at the moment. So yeah, other than the fact that Faction Wars tomorrow, come and watch, and I shall upload that to YouTube at some point. I'm in the process of uploading all these Elite Game streams to YouTube as well. In fact, they're already uploaded, I just need to add descriptions and pictures and everything else. So I've just done it as raw streams. I was thinking of just splitting up into individual videos, but that's going to be a lot of work, and that's going to cause a lot of videos. Especially when there's like a series where it was like a 2-0, or I've only managed to cast one game of it as the other games had already been played. So I just do the streams themselves, and then you can just flick through in the description and see who's playing who, and click there, I guess, just to make things a bit easier. So for now, I shall be coming off, and I shall be streaming again Faction Wars tomorrow, and that is going to be at 6 PM UK time. As for your time zones, figure it out. That's all I can say. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you around tomorrow.